So here's another one. The probability that z is less than negative 0.84. It's a negative, so we're going to have to go on the negative chart. So negative 0.8 is over here, and the 100th digit is 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be equal to 20.05%. The probability that z is less than 0.29, we're in the positive. 0.2 all the way to the 9 is going to be 61.41%. Now, all of these had less than as the question, but let's say the question was asking, what's the probability that z is more than 1.5? So what we're going to do for that one, we're going to figure out, okay, what is the probability that z is less than 1.5? And then the probability that's more than that, because remember, the total probability has to be 100, is going to be 100% minus that. Or to put it another way, this is going to be equal to 1 minus the probability that z is less than 1.5. And the probability it's less than the probability it's less than 1.5 is 93.32%. 93.32%. Which is going to give us 6.68%. So the probability of it being less than is about 93.32%, and the probability of it being more than 1.5 is 6.8%. So this is the same idea over here. This is going to be 1 minus the probability that z is less than 0.88. It's a negative. So negative 0.88 is 1894. And 1 minus 0.1894 is 0.8106, which we could write as 81.06%. Now, you might notice that the chart only goes as low as 3 and is only as high as positive 3. And the reason is that once you get to 3, if we have that chart again, our chart only goes from there to there. But that encapsulates 99.7% of all the values. Everything else is pretty much, well, it's very, very low. But let's say we get some z values that are beyond that. So let's say we're going to say, let's say we want to know what is the probability that z is less than 0.43 or less than 4.3. So I'm going to draw kind of, so what we have, so here the z-score is 0, here the z-score is 3, here the z-score is minus 3, and I mean it keeps on going, it just asymptotically approaches 0 as we get farther out. And then our numbers here, we have z-scores of 4.3 and z-scores of minus 4.3. And so the question is, what's the probability that the z-score is less than 4.3? Well, we could assume that roughly 100% probability is in this zone over here. Is it exactly 100%? No, but roughly. So we're going to say that the probability that it's less than 4.3 is 100%. The probability it's less than negative 4.3, going in this direction, well, there's no chance because pretty much everything's above it. So that's going to be 0%. The probability it's more than negative 4.3, going in this direction, that's going to be 100%. And the probability that it's more than 4.3, that once again would be 0%.